attack damage come through, whether that's converted up into the top side of the map or into the jungle, but they definitely need something onto the side of SB3 for now. But the Yone could be very interesting. It could still be flex, right? Like, it could be mid, it could be jungle, it could be up into the top lane. So I think it's a good, like, overall flex pick into middle of the draft right now, because we're not too sure what the side of SB3 going to go for and where that could actually land for the Yone.
Two supports being banned here. One support they missed out, though, is the Galio. I think Galio is an insane pick here for Mango. Yep. Like, it's so good. You know, Vladimir already does a crazy amount of AP damage. Varus basically goes Essence Reaver into AP, so he's basically AP damage as well. You have I mean, Nautilus is going to build tank, but I guess you can count that as a little bit of AP damage. I mean, Galio's support here is just absolutely insane. They are going to hold off on it for now. Looks like it might be Nard jungle if this Poppy is picked. They are going to wait for it for the last pick. I still think Galio is by far the best support to pick here as well. It also stops potential of like the Vladimir being dashed in. Maybe it depends on the other two you know, picks that get picked up here by the Mina squad, but you're expecting two frontline bruisers here that are going to be AD. Olaf is going to be one of them, and then you can probably see something like a Fiora could be very good. They go for Darius again. I'm not too sure how I feel about this. It had potential in the last game, but there was just a few timings that were a little bit off from the Darius. I mean, Galio is just a crazy good pick here. Like, it has to be Darius here. I'm sorry, not Darius. It has to be Galio here. There's just so much AP damage on the other side. Your taunt does so well against all these melee champions. Your ultimate can be followed up on top of the Gnar, on top of the Yone diving in as well, on top of Poppy diving in. It's going to go for the Gwen. So it's a Poppy support. I think it's Poppy supports, which is probably first time I'm seeing Poppy support in competitive. I'm not too sure how well the pick really is because I haven't really seen it too much in competitive, but definitely a different pick this time, and we'll have to see how it works out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where, obviously, Poppy is going to put that priority, obviously, with her ultimate. You can imagine that with the Vladimir, you're going to try and commit it before the Sanguine Pool's been put down, because obviously you can't target him when he's within that state. So there's a small window that they have to either try and sort of like wait in a brush, wait for him to come by. Classic Dignity is definitely going to be using that kind of same flash, go in with the ultimate, try and chunk out to that backline if he's able to actually even scale, because that's what Mango's really going to try and do here, right? I mean, they definitely want to try and have a bit more of a solid early game, make sure the SB3 aren't going to kind of have their way with them, or even have it like a very 50-50 fight. But they take the shins out for themselves this time around, which played very well for Mango in game one.
I mean, there's a few picks that have really been taken away. You know, the Xin Zhao and the Vladimir, maybe it wasn't going to be a priority from Mango in the end anyway, but they still take it away from them, trying to make them maybe a little bit uncomfortable. I think the Gwen pick in the end is still good, though. I think Mango probably needed that little bit of AP damage. But I think Galio just was such a good support pick this game. Poppy's also good because they have quite a few dashes, you know, with the Nautilus, sorry, with the Xin Zhao, the dashes can be stopped by Poppy, but with so much AP damage that you're seeing in the first three picks, Galio support could have been a great option. But overall, I mean, both compositions look a lot more well-rounded than last game. There isn't really a pick that I can think of like kind of a question mark in the end. Maybe the Darius can be a little bit difficult in the end. Again, Darius is all about his resets. If he can't get the first reset off, he's kind of useless when it comes to the fight. So it's all about trying to deny away the first ultimate reset from the Darius to try and get that big advantage.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Darius did play very well, obviously, in game one. There was a lot of like chance. I mean, I feel like it was mainly contested, obviously, with Patterson on the Poppy in the early part of the game. Like, in terms of trying to get the bleed off and trying to kind of like run it down, it was very difficult for him. But going up against the Yone is going to be still a little bit of a hard matchup here for him. Obviously, Yone does get the shield in. He is able to kind of get in and out of those 1v1s as well. So I feel like there is going to potentially be a little bit of pressure into the side lane to try and curb Patterson on this Yone this time around. But hey, game two is underway. SB3 are down 1 point, whereas Mango are up 1 point. This could potentially be the game point for the side of the Españols.
Oh god, what is going on here? There's some crazy invades happening here, and Xin Zhao is just completely caught out. The flash is going to come on through as well. The invades onto this blue side. Maybe they might actually catch out here. Wow, they do catch out the Gwen in the end. No flash onto that Gwen means that it's first blood here over to the Mina squad. Really good early invade, and honestly, this is the power of Nautilus. The crazy thing about Nautilus, which I'm going to teach a lot of people now, Nautilus can invade Raptors at level 1, start W, and he can take it in about 5 seconds. Nautilus is just so insanely strong right now with that second ability, the AoE damage that you can get on that second ability. I saw it in China earlier. They got the mid lane priority. Nautilus started W, went in at level 1. They got another kill in the mid lane as well with the Varus. My God. But yeah, I mean, the Nautilus was able to invade at level 1, take every single Raptor away from the enemy jungle, and then the jungler's like 1 level behind as well. And that's exactly what the Mina squad did. Invading with the Nautilus, helping that Xerxej with the invade, and that's given Mina that early gold leads.
Absolutely. I mean, they definitely needed it, right? They're up by about like, what, 1.3, so like 1.5k gold for now. So definitely going in for these invades, looking to try and make sure that they curb Mango Esports in the early part of the game. They tried to do, obviously, with the Blitzcrank in game 1. It wasn't quite as obviously successful, as obviously it falls off towards the latter part, but they can keep like emulating this same kind of strategy. But right now, 2 of the members of Mango Esports are looking to go for a rotation down here, but it is going to be Darius. He's like, hey, I can kind of sense that it's coming, guys. We have the vision. We know where that's coming from. So a good call there. Got back. Wasn't going to get the takedown, because right now Mango needs to make sure they're getting some kind of priority in either of these lanes.
Yeah, they're not going to get any priority in that mid lane, especially with that Poppy pick as well. You don't have any pushing priority. Nautilus being one of the best supports out there right now, thanks to their pushing priority as well. Yone struggling a little bit into this matchup at the moment against the Vladimir because Xerxej is hovering. I mentioned how Yone does want this Vladimir matchup. Yone can try and snowball and try and get that early advantage, but the difficulty is that when you have a Xerxej hovering you, it's kind of difficult to try and do something. But look here, you're seeing this Nautilus invading onto the Raptors, just trying to make a big nuisance here. Nah has to use that smite away in the end, but you see how annoying Nautilus is already in this early game, just invading, trying to auto-attack camps. You can see they're trying to invade this blue buff now as well. There's Xerxej here trying to step up across the wall. Poppy's going to stand up against the wall. Actually stops the Xerxej in his way as well. But there's no smite onto the Gnar. The Gnar just smite the Raptors earlier on, but it's a huge knock up here. And the Gnar ulti as well up against the wall. Deadly trying to get the kill. Misses a Q in the end, but still gets the kill anyway. And maybe the invading was a little bit too much there for the Mina squad. They were able to get that blue buff with the Gnar already using the smite on that Raptors, but 2 kills for Mango makes the goal dead even again.
Yeah, but getting the horse back on the saddle again is going to be Mango Esports, right? Definitely trying to punish that same kind of invade potentially. Actually get the smite off. Obsess gets the blue buff as well. So a big denial here from the Xerxej. So I'm going to be watching out for SB3. But oh, the takedown and the damage coming through already for SB3. It's getting the Obsess down is going to be obviously a little bit more of a green light for the side of SB3 to go in for a bit of an invade. Try and take some of these camps for themselves whilst Obsess is down.
And his Vladimir at the moment is actually doing really well into this matchup against Yone. You see every single time that Yone tries to jump in, he times the Sanguine pull to perfection. Actually does incredibly well at the moment. And, you know, not allowing this Yone to snowball in the early game means that this Vladimir, again, can scale that kill that he just got, you know, a few seconds ago as well. It's just going to accelerate that gold lead even more into the top side. Darius trying to get a little bit of a player into the bot side. Going to be able to get the extra defenses here from Gwen. And you're seeing how much Darius struggles in the early game when it comes to trying to get his resets, trying to stack up his passive and trying to get the ultimate down, because Gwen has her second ability, which gives her armor and magic resist, so that's extra armor, and also has defensive boots. The armor boots makes it really, really difficult for the Darius to try to do any damage to this Gwen at all. But here comes these big objectives. Mega Gnar is available though, and this could be a big team fight for Mango if they can try and get a big priority. Varus ulti comes down a little bit early, to be fair, though. Watch out for the Gnar ultimates.
Yeah, I mean, big team fight going on here. We're already deleting. There's the ultimate barrage coming through from Deadly. Able to clean up 2 sides of SB3 for now. I mean, that's taking up the jungle, and that means the Enchanted Ensemble is going to be available for the side of Mango. They don't have any other smites onto the side of SB3. Easy, clean Enchanted Ensemble, but into the back line, we see that Darius is trying his best, but they gets run down by Patterson. That's overall 3 kills and an Enchanted Ensemble. big trade here for Mango Esports.
Yeah, big win here for Mango. I said watch out for that Gnar ultimate. As soon as they jumped in, Gnar just ultied them, sorry, up against the wall. And then the true shot barrage, as you mentioned, from that Ezreal just did so much damage in the end. And it was enough to try and take them down. Nautilus is trying to walk up here to try and do something. But the Poppy ultimate might just stop it all. And there you go. Adios, amigo, Nautilus. That's going to be Nautilus escaping. Maybe the Zinzhao can, the Vladimir can try and get a kill. Does get a kill onto the Poppy in the end. Might get traded back here, though, by the Yone. But he's back here again. He flashes forward. What an insane play here from Patterson, on the Yone. The flash forward, dodging the hook in the end. Patterson still has hands, even after all these years.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you saw that, right? That was just so, like, he got back, obviously used Spirit Form, and then he just was like, you know what, I'm going to flash in, I'm going to commit to this one. Dredgeline actually being committed onto Obsess here. It is potentially going to be the Gnar going down, unfortunately, but Deadly, he was able to just run this mid T1 down for now. Obviously, very low health, not able to claim it just yet, but it's a lot of damage. That means that SB3 are going to have to pay very close attention to this lane.
Yeah, they're trying to defend this mid lane tower. You see the Salo basically has to tank the minions because they're trying to stop this mid lane tower from going down, as it will open up the map so much for Mango. And we talked about the early lead that Ezreal Nautilus had at the moment. That's basically gone. Deadly has picked up a few kills around these big objectives, and that means that he's now in the gold lead over this Varus. And now it's going to be really, really difficult for, I believe, the Mina team to try and come back into this, as the Poppy does get a little bit caught out. The Varus poke damage is pretty big, but look at Deadly. Deadly's trying to focus fire, uses the Kens to get away from the Nautilus, and flashes away from the Darius. So really well played there from Deadly to stay alive, but his support does go down. So that is a kill back here for the Mina squad, and very similar to last game, we only have about 2,000-3,000 gold difference in this one.
Yeah, a lot different compared to the last series, right? I mean, we're getting around about this 7-8 minute mark, and there's like a 10k gold difference across the board, which is not great for either of these for either of the teams. But now it's definitely a lot more even. They're gonna be careful though. I mean, Obsess getting caught out here, has to be careful. Patterson going in. He only gets the knock up onto one, but it is gonna be the Xinzhao, which means he's able to get out. But it is gonna be Vladimir into the back line there, claiming the kill onto Obsess once more, and down goes Patterson. So no kills, but 2-0. Going over to SB3 for now, which they gotta be careful. They could completely just turn around this lead they have into the top side of the map, into the favor of SB3 again. But Timon 1v1 against the Darius, but the slam dunk comes through. It's not gonna be quite enough here to take down the Gwen with that DOT just yet. Yeah,
again, Darius really struggling. You know, Darius is a champion at the moment. It's just not really in a strong state. He just doesn't do enough damage at the moment, even though he's against, you know, so many melee champions. This is normally like the perfect scenario for Darius, but the champion right now is just not doing enough damage. Varus ultimate used a bit defensively this time around. Actually does a crazy amount of damage. Actually going to try here. The Darius might be a little bit too much here for the Gwen. Darius doesn't have his ultimate yet. He's actually going to flash forward in the end. Really well played. I think a bit of a misplay there from the Gwen, unfortunately. Could have easily dashed away and could have easily survived, but a great Q flash there by the Darius, going in and securing that kill. Really well played.
I mean, if we didn't expect that kind of engage, that kind of aggression from the side of SB3, I don't think Timon did either. He was just like, you know what, I'm back in my T1, I'm safe. And then it was just like, nah, B, I need to rush in, I need to flash in and get this kill. Like, even though there was a level difference, right, a clear difference about by a 1 level, it still didn't stop SB3's Darius just getting into that T1 and claiming that kill. Because now it's kind of put the pressure into that side of the map for the side of SB3, which is exactly what they need, because they don't have it in the mid lane, they don't have it into the top side either.
And Darius getting that kill is not going to be really good for the side of Mango, because actually the Gwen was playing really well in this matchup, but you can see that one little misplay, one little overstep from the Gwen just means that the Darius can capitalize, and now he might have a little bit of an easier time now in this top side. You can see the 1 versus 1 for this Gwen. Actually the barrier coming on through really clutch there, and maybe the Poppy is here to help save the day. He tried to proto belt forwards and he couldn't proto belt forward in the end because the Poppy was able to knock him back away. Really close there from Darius, making another huge outplay. 1 versus 3 in the bottom side, but this time the team was there to help out timing.
Yeah, no, he definitely had a better chance of trying to get timing down there, but obviously the shielding came through. It was definitely going to be very close. You have to be careful. Obviously, having that gargoyles is a bit of a lifeline here. Salo goes in as well, straight in on top, but we have Fura coming around as well. Going to be that damage coming through from the Varus. It's going to be enough and takes down timing once more. So just trying to kind of regain some pressure into that bot side of the map is going to be SB3 as they try and take the second Dragon Soul.
The second dragon going to be taken away here, and this is kind of a bit of the opposite of what game one was looking like. You know, game one, it was Mango taking 2 of the dragons, trying to play towards that dragon soul. This game is SB3 taking 2 dragons, again trying to play towards the dragon soul. Vladimir looking for that engage. Great double knockback there by the Poppy. Meanwhile, Darius going to be able to get a kill onto the Yone. So that's a 1-for-0 trade right now for SB3. Maybe the scaling in the end from the Vladimir and the Darius is going to prove worthy in this composition, and maybe Vladimir might be a big pick in this series as we potentially go into game number 3, because in game number 1 it was a huge pick. In game number 2 it's looking like a huge pick as well, and it can make a really big difference.
Oh, a huge difference. I mean, yes, he was struggling in the early game, but right now it's definitely sort of like it's going in the way that he needs it to, but maybe just trying to run this down, keep this T1 alive into the bot side of the map is exactly what they need, right? They don't want to allow any more kind of leeway for the side of Mango Esports because they have pretty much priority in the mid. They need to do something up into the top side of the map right now. They can't let any of those T2s fall just yet, especially now that we're getting into kind of like the Baron Nashor territory. Because as soon as you get forced back into that kind of like high ground trades sort of situation, it's going to be hard for the side of Mango to make sure they're maintaining their waves. And right now, Classic Dignity is just trying to source out, trying to burn out a few of those spells from the side of these teams.
Yeah, Yone Patterson had to flash away there. Unfortunately, wasn't able to do too much. Poppy looking to engage though.
Having to use the flash for Xin Zhao to get out safe. I mean, that's, yeah, nothing gets onto the board for Mango here. It's not like they can go for the Baron Nashor either. They just don't have the priority in these waves just yet. So I feel like maybe just focus on the resources because they are behind by about like only 800 gold. So they need to kind of curb this, try and put it into their favor. Maybe try and take a fight around this Baron Nashor because obviously SB3 have started it. They do get the debuff as well fighting the Baron Nashor, but they are running it down pretty quick.
Yeah, it's going down pretty fast, but you have to remember the Baron in general is going to do a lot of damage. Actually, the Vladimir gets stunned up against the wall, but was able to get a 5-man ultimate down in the end. Actually, a lot of poke damage as well onto SB3, and this is the risky part of starting Baron. A lot of people don't know, but actually using Baron means that you're going to be losing a lot of resistances. Not with the ultimate trying to catch onto that Nautilus. The double knockup as well for the Poppy, and the Yone dive onto the backline. He actually dies for it, but he trades 2 for 1 in the end. The Nautilus goes down and the Darius, and it means that Mango can now turn towards this Baron. And I think with members too low on HP here for SB3, actually they tried to engage, but they weren't able to get any kills. Mango Esports is able to capitalize on SB3 trying to stay towards that Baron. Xin Zhao is left alive. There are low health members here for Mango, so they need to be a little bit careful. But you're seeing straight away the knockback onto the wall, the not ulti again, the 2-shot barrage to finish it off, and Mango secure Baron.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to handle that team fight, right? They could have just committed to that one. They would have had potentially Classic Dignity and Xin Zhao trying to come through, especially Fura X on the Varus there. But it's like, you know what? We got to make sure we get a clean shot at this Baron Nashor, because if we whiff this, if we fumble the bag at this point, Mango Esports would be looking at a potential loss in this game too, right? Like, already we see the SB3 have the mini waves into the top and to the mid lane. So if they were able to contest and even steal that Baron Nashor, it would have been hard comeback here for Mango, but they wanted to do it right and they did.
Exactly that. Really nice team fight in the end. Again, the Gnar making a huge difference as well. That Mega Gnar straight into the wall, catching out the Nautilus, and then catching out the Darius as well at the same time. Again, you're seeing how much Darius is struggling against all this crowd control, the knockback from the Poppy, the knockback from the Gnar as well, the knockups from the Yone. The Yone ulti was so huge in the end. That combo making a huge difference. And now you're seeing, sorry, Gnar has the Mega Gnar again, and it's a big threat for the side of SB3.
Yeah, big threat for the side of SB3. I mean, potentially right now, they could starve that Infernal Drake as well, right? Like, if they are able to take that away, so they aren't able to get the Dragon Soul, it could be a pretty huge thing here for them. Obviously, Patterson looking to go and sort that out and completely cut that lifeline away from them.
No, exactly that. I think that was kind of their win condition, SB3. They wanted to try and play towards that soul. Is the Mountain Soul, so it's not as powerful as the Infernal Soul that we saw last game, but still that Mountain Soul can make a big difference. Oh, the Poppy again, absolutely huge. The CC up against the wall, that pushback up against the wall means that Xin Zhao just has nowhere to go. Ezra with the true shot barrage from downtown as well, and this just might be it for Mango. They already got 2 kills. They got the Baron Nashor as well. They're trying to end this game right here, right now. Mid lane inhibitor taken down. They're going to rotate up into the top lane as well. Meganar is available for Obes again. Not going to be able to go in for the engage though, but 2 inhibitors going down, and also the team fight win for Mango means they can go back, spend their gold, and try and play towards these next objectives.
Yeah, it's exactly the turnaround they needed, right? I mean, SB3, we have to give, obviously, props where it's due, right? Like, they definitely started to play, like, a really good mid-game there, especially before the Baron Nashor started to spawn. I feel like that's where they started to kind of, like, lose their composure, because they wasn't quite sure what they wanted to do and, like, where they wanted to get this objective from, or even if they were going to try and take it. But at their own demise, they decided to take the team fight, hoping it was going to bait out Mango Esports, but actually paid worse off for SB3, because like you say, you lose a lot of resistance when you go against the Baron Nashor thanks to that debuff.
Exactly that, and I think that was really the mistake that SB3 did. You know, when they look back at this game, they're going to realize that if we didn't start the Baron, if we maybe played just like a little bit more defensive, you know, tried to play a little bit more passive and tried to play towards the team fight rather than playing towards the Baron, they can try and do that. But legendary here for Deadly, proving that this Ezreal pick, the comfort that Deadly has on this Ezreal, the power that he can have on this champion as well, really proving worthy in this game. Darius might get a little bit caught out here as well. I don't think they know he's there, so he's going to be safe for now. But you're seeing the top lane is going to be pushed in, the mid lane is going to be pushed in as well. The objectives are spawning again though, so they do need to be a little bit careful here, Mango. They want to go back to the objectives and just make sure they just secure the win ever so slowly. Make sure that they can secure the win and make sure they're able to make that big difference in this fight. Look at the Poppy again.
Yeah, Poppy just circulating around there, just trying to catch out Salo onto the Nora, so he doesn't
no
effect into the back line. Oh, huge. He takes down, obviously Salo goes down as well, but this is actually going to be a bit of a trade here. Fura actually goes down. No trade coming through for the side of SB3, sorry, but right now, into the back line again is going to be timing, punishing that Darius for that early game aggression. That flash into the turret means that Mango are looking to finish this game here. They don't even need the Elder Dragon and the Baron Nashor this time around. They're looking to finish this game 2 and take a 2-0 into their favor and also try and get an ace here. But Classic Ninity with classic style denies the ace, but they lose the war. Mango Esports getting a 2-0 victory.
Really strong victory in the end. I think it was, as we expected, a much closer series to the first one, even though this was also a 2-0. Unfortunately, we don't get a 3-game series today.